Hi, and welcome to Unit 10, Day 5. Today we're going to look at surface area and volume of pyramids and cones, starting with our formulas for pyramids. Our formulas for pyramids are total surface area, which again means all the sides and the base, lateral surface area, just the sides without the base, and then your volume, as if you're filling in that pyramid. Okay, there is a little bit new information over here with the types of letters that we're going to be using in our formula. So for total surface area, so all the sides and the base, we're going to do 1/2 capital P, which is the same thing as it was before, perimeter of one base. And then there's this like cursive lowercase l, and that stands for slant height. Okay, plus capital B, which is what it always was, the area of one base. My lateral surface area is 1/2 the perimeter of the base plus the slant height, and my volume is 1/3 the area of the one base, when there's only one base, times h, the height of the pyramid. So let's talk about the difference between the slant height and the height. Okay, if I were to look at a pyramid, okay, so a lot of times I'm just going to see if I can sketch like a rectangular pyramid. And I know it looks like I'm not sketching a rectangular pyramid because this does not look like a rectangle. But when you look at the bases, they're going to be kind of tilted backwards or forwards. And so even if it's a rectangle on the bottom, it may not look like a rectangle when you look at just the base by itself. Okay. And again, that's one of the reasons that we oftentimes will give you figures that aren't to scale, because sometimes when you're looking at them in a 3D world drawn out for you, they're not going to necessarily look like what you're expecting to see. Okay, so I have a rectangular prism. My base is a rectangle. Okay, so here's my base. My base is a rectangle. In a prism, pyramid, we name them by the base, just like we do in a prism. But the difference is our sides, for when we're doing lateral surface area, our sides this time, instead of all being rectangles, our sides are all triangles because they all are going to come together at a point at the top of the pyramid. Okay, so then we are going to be looking at the slant height and the height. My perimeter of the base, you add the sides of the rectangle or whatever the shape of your base is. And the area of the base, that area formula is going to change if you have a rectangle, base times height of the rectangle. If you're using down here, this first example we're going to look at, it's a pentagon, a regular pentagon. So we're going to use the area for a regular pentagon. Okay, so the area of the base, the formula will change each time. And then you have these two heights, your slant height. Imagine, if you will, you are standing on top of the pyramid and you have a ball and you roll that ball down the side. Let me erase that. I don't like where I drew that. You wouldn't roll it down the edge. You would roll it down the side. So if I roll my ball down the side, so I'm rolling this ball down the side of the pyramid. Okay, that distance, that slanted down the side distance, that's your L, your slant height. Okay, whereas we already have looked at the height, we say is the perpendicular distance. So from where I'm standing, if I were to drop something and it landed straight down, perpendicular to the base inside the pyramid, that's going to be my height, my H height, if you will. Okay, that's going to be the one I use for height. Okay, what's kind of neat is your height along with your slant height, along with partway across your base, will always create a little right triangle, which means expect to possibly be using Pythagorean theorem or working with right triangles when we're working with heights and slant heights. Okay, all right, let's look at example number 1. Okay, it says, what is the shape of the base? That's the first thing I'm looking at. Well, the shape of the base, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. So I know the shape of my base is a pentagon. Okay, so then I want to know, okay, what is the perimeter of the base? So I know each side here of this base, I can see they all have tick marks on them, and they say they are 12 yards. So on my pentagon, I just kind of re-sketch it over here. If all my sides are 12, then my perimeter is going to be 12, and there's 5 sides, so 12 times 5, which is 60. My perimeter here then is 60. Okay, the area of the base, it is a regular pentagon. So if I've forgotten that formula, I can always go back to Schoology, and I can go to my resources tab. And then if I scroll down at the bottom, I have my geometry formula chart, and I can open that up, and I can go look for my regular polygon formula. Here are my area formulas. My regular polygon area equals 1/2 little a capital P, where capital P is the perimeter of the polygon, and A is that distance from the center to the side. So 1/2 AP is what I'm going to be looking at for my area of my base. So for the area of the base, it's 1/2 AP of the pentagon. So that's 1/2 the A. So the distance from the center to a side, I can look in my picture and see that that is 8.3. I don't have to find it. And my perimeter, we already found that the perimeter is 60. So that's already been done for me. So the area of my base, I'm going to go to my calculator. 1/2 times 8.3 times 60 is 249. What is the height? So remember, the height is, sometimes I refer to it as the, I know it's going to sound funny, but sometimes I call it the chandelier height. Because I think of, if I was inside and there was a really pretty big chandelier here and it fell, that distance it would fall, that's the height that we're looking for when we do the height, the regular height. So I think of a chandelier falling, and that reminds me, okay, that's the height, okay? And that I can see is 11, okay? Then, last but not least, we have our slant height, okay? My slant height, if I'm rolling that ball down the edge, I can see they gave that to me. It is 13.8, okay? So now, let's find our total surface area, our lateral area, and our volume. So my total surface area is 1/2 the perimeter. I know the perimeter is 60 plus the slant height, L. My slant height is 13.8. Okay, and then the area of the base we found to be 249. The area of my base was 249. So now to find my total surface area, I'm just going to do this all together. So 1/2 times 60 times 13.8. That first little bit is 414 plus that 249. So my total surface area is 663. And I know it's area, so these are yards squared. Okay, then I have my lateral surface area, so just the sides without the base. Notice 1/2 PL plus base, 1/2 PL. So we've already done this. We've already put a 60 in here. We've already put the slant height, the 13.8. We did that over here, 1/2 of 60 times 13.8, 1/2 of 60 times 13.8. And we said when we do that, we get 414. No need to do it again. And again, this is an area. It's a lateral surface area. So my units here are yards squared. Okay. Then last but not least, we're going to look at the volume. My volume, 1/3 base times height. My base was 249. And my height was 11. So this I can put in my calculator. 1/3 times 249 times 11 is 913. And sometimes it'll come out to a decimal. These won't always be perfect numbers like this. Sometimes you'll get decimals and that's okay. But this is 913. And since it's units, I have, remember this is the area of the base, so those are squared units. This is a height, so those are plane units. And when I multiply squared plus to the first, I end up with units cubed. Volume is always cubed. Okay? All right, come on back for the next example, and we will look at another one. We'll look at a rectangular pyramid. All right, see you in a moment.